Good morning. It's Friday, the 3rd of April. We are now well into lockdown, and we're nearly 2 weeks into lockdown. And I really want to take this opportunity to address families, staff, commissioners, any other interested parties, just for try and keep it a very brief update where we're at as an organisation. The first thing I want to say is our staff have been absolutely phenomenal. We have had people on isolation. We've had more and more people have come back from isolation. We've actually had 4 consecutive days now where we have had 0 absenteeism from staff other than those that are on isolation, self-isolation, and that's phenomenal. And that really, if you're a family, you should take a lot of comfort from knowing just how committed these guys are. What a fantastic job they're doing in difficult circumstances where they're not always able to take individuals out, where we've had a number of individuals who have been shielded. We have other individuals who've been in isolation, and they've just been absolute stars. And staff, we really can't thank you enough for what a fantastic job you're doing. So that's terrific. Families, we've had some fantastic comments back from you guys, and it's always a worrying time. And my wife did a short video the other day. All we can do is to show you what we're doing, and so there are 3 streams to our YouTube channel, which we set up very on an impromptu basis, and the 3 streams are: one, our micro Cobra meetings, and they're a daily meeting, which is half an hour or so, and there you get it the way it's being said. We have this fantastic team of senior managers who are plugged in all of the time, and they come together 7 days a week, and we're recording that, we're putting it out there, so you can see some of the decisions that are being made. There's a lot of preamble, there's a lot of discussion. It's probably very boring for most people, but just be aware that for us, it's the everyday immediacy of what's happening, which is being discussed there, and everything that's being discussed, and we're trying to do it with humour as well, is incredibly important to the individuals that we're privileged to support. We're also linking very, very closely with Care England, who are a representative group for providers, and we've been raising issues, and we've raised a number of issues with them. Obviously, this issue about PPE is a serious issue, because we can't have people who are not protected. I don't want to sort of sound too sort of overly self-confident, but we did actually foresee this much more perhaps than other people did back in February, when we really looked at our business continuity plan and we took it apart and we actually put in orders for PPE. Having said that, we were running low on PPE the other day, but we've just heard that in fact we've got the big delivery order that we put in is now coming through. So for us, we're gearing up because we've got the worst to come yet, which is probably in 18 or 20 days' time when the peak's meant to hit Lincoln. So we're actually trying to analyse exactly how many pieces of PPE we're using when somebody's being put into isolation, self-isolation. And so we're doing all of that. We've got online systems which allow us to know the data and so on. So PPE is a big issue. It's probably less of an issue for us at this moment in time, providing we get things coming through. Okay, the really big issue for everybody is testing. I just want to say I think the government in very difficult circumstances is doing a really good job. The reality is you're fighting a war, and in any war you don't get everything right all of the time. What's important is how you respond to what you don't get right, and so on. Testing, well, if they do get to 100,000 by the end of the month, it will be phenomenal, and that's what they need to do. You need practical solutions in all of these situations. And one of the problems with the care sector has been that we have a lot of academic type people who have very good points of view and everything. But actually, a lot of these guys have not got a clue about the practicalities of what's needed and so on. And that's true in every area of care, if I'm honest. And that's what we've always been up against at Home from Home Care. It's about being practical about things and so on. So I think getting the Army involved and, on PPE and sort of marshalling big labs and everything, it's great, but actually, there are a lot of other things that can be done. We just need to unlock the entrepreneurial type spirit that sort of, that exists in our society, and get people who can fix problems and practically doing it. So please maybe get this testing through quickly. Gosh, I hope we do, because when the real issues start to hit, if we've got 50, 100 staff isolating, it will be a nightmare. If we have individuals being isolated, it will, on a massive scale, it will be a nightmare. Testing will be everything. And in a way, if they don't get the testing sorted, this is actually going to come back on the NHS. Because without testing, it's not possible to bring people out of hospitals and so on. But without testing, we're going to be putting people in harm's way who are going to end up in hospital who shouldn't otherwise end up in hospital. Okay, then the third area that we've been focusing on very much is this whole issue around furloughing people. If somebody's on furlough, basically they're getting 80% of their salary. There is no incentive for them to come across and come and work in social care. And in fact, there's every reason why they probably wouldn't want to, because they're going to go from a secure employment situation where they're receiving 80% into a new employment situation where they don't know if it's going to work. And we've been really highlighting that because it's particularly important to us, to Home from Home Care, because we go out of our way to try and recruit people from other sectors. We're not so interested in people from our existing sector because they come with a lot of baggage. We do things in a very different way. So we try and find people from there. So we have been getting a phenomenal level of inquiries for jobs. I know we've got 20 new starters next week. But our sort of applicant line is starting to dry up a bit, and that's to do with this issue around furloughing. And what we've suggested is to Care England that they should be asking the government basically to say, if you come across to social care, we will pay you your furloughed amount for a couple of weeks until you decide if that's the job you want or not. If you want the job, well, then it would you're then going to be on the salary. It also wouldn't be fair putting people into our homes who are being paid both furlough and a wage at the same time along our own staff. So there's lots of sort of nuances all around that. We had the horrible start where we were very short of food. That is fixed. Hugo, Sam, everybody have done a phenomenal job. Laura, Danielle, we've got a whole supply chain. Suddenly, we're now a food depot at the Social Care Exchange. And from being in a situation where individuals went out into the community to buy the produce and then to sort of prepare it themselves, we've gone, because we're at sort of level 4 of our continuity plan. Level 5 is normality. We're at level 4, where we're trying to take the pressure off the homes. We've got to make sure we've got a continuous food supply. So if you look at some of the videos, we've got the great videos. We have a caterer who used to do weddings and everything. Well, now they're catering for us, and they're mass producing meals, fantastic meals. I was told today that they all have 5, the 5 a day sort of requirements of vegetables and things in there, so they're healthy, nutritious as well. So that's great. We've got a great supply there. And I say in terms of staffing, we're right at this moment in time, we're in a fantastic place. So we could not be in a better place with numbers of staff, commitment of staff, with morale of staff, and everything. But the next 2 weeks, 3 weeks time is when it's going to really hurt us. Okay. Basically, we're all about transparency. We've always been about transparency with our services. So I hope you like the YouTube programs, because this is the way that it is. This is what we're trying to do, and we're trying to make it work as well as we can for sort of everybody in every way. I could go along talking for a long time, which would really bore you all. So I'd just like to take this opportunity to say, hey, look, stay safe, stay positive. And believe you me, some fantastically good things will come out of this horrible, horrible situation. And certainly the world will not look quite the same and quite as grey as it looked before and as it looks now. It will be a better world that comes out of it, because there are so many positives that happen. Thank you. Stay safe.